I made a video about how God speaks to us every single day. And just as God does that, or angels, or whatever you want to call it, the universe, signs, that happens. But also what happens is that the dark side also gives us messages. So the most important thing in spiritual warfare is to distinguish voices. We need to know what is genuinely divine messaging and what is deception and lies. It's one of the most important skills I believe a person can do for their self-development. Skills to acquire. So, because I've trained my spiritual eyes forever, I know that specific people will speak out of possession because they don't have a strong anything really. They're just sheep, a lot of people are sheep, and that's not to degrade anybody, but if you don't have, so it's a double-edged sword. So you have to kind of be very confident, have a strong opinion, but that has to be formed on a basis of truth. Otherwise we become narcissistic, we become toxic, we become arrogant. There's a difference in knowing your power and feeling like you're better than other people. And these things can look alike, but we know that they're not, right? So if you practice enough awareness, you will start to see that there are just certain people that they just speak out of their behinds, right? It's true. And what they say is not to be taken seriously, and it's very hard, I notice, because we are so easily influenced. We are so easily influenced by the world, and some people, they just speak, they don't really mind what they say. And these are the people who are targeted by the devil and used. So, for example, I am sober from weed, my weed addiction, for a good time now. And what's significant is not the time that I've been sober. What's significant is that I don't feel the need anymore. Like whenever I'm tempted, and a lot of people smoke weed and they don't see a problem with it and they offer it, I never feel just like giving in, because I made a vow to myself and my vow to God and my divine self that I'm not going to go this route, because there were many messages telling me that this is going to be my end. So, besides that, that's the other problem. When you stop something, something else can come up. And for me, it's like having a drink every day. And it's not like I'm getting drunk, but I'm starting to see that it's a problem, And I don't believe personally that I will have a big problem stopping it, because I will. When I finish what I have, I will stop, because I know, I decided already. But whatever, I'm just being real, I'm not pretending to be a saint or anything like that, because nobody is. So the funny thing is, I want to stop drinking, right? So this person says, oh, it's harder to stop drinking than weed. It's just like no basis in anything, right? No basis in any studies. And even if all of these things have to do with your mind, like your willpower, that's what it is about. It's not about the substance at all. Like, of course, there are some substances that are even harder to get, non-dependent on. But to say that weed is not as bad as alcohol and things like that, I personally believe that these things are not helpful, because it's just very specific to me now. And I think a dangerous thing that we can do is to tell ourselves that, just rationalize way too much. We rationalize way too much. And mystical thinking, meaning thinking that everything is a sign and everything is like a huge spiritual thing, is also not the best thing in the world. So we have to walk in balance. I will admit that. That's true. But at the same time, if I would now say that, oh, this doesn't affect me at all, it's just like a regular statement, I would take this statement seriously. And then, you know, it's this ripple effect, it's this avalanche of one thought that starts, and then telling myself, oh, it's hard, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. So the devil speaks through these types of people who don't have a strong spiritual development, you know, spiritual maturity. So literally, you have to be very careful with these types of people. You have to be able to identify them and to tell yourself, not today, devil, right? Because what the dark side wants is for you to take it seriously. That's all. That's enough. That's enough. That's the gateway to fall into traps, to go in a certain route, follow a certain path. And before you know it, you're lost. Before you know it, you're lost. As soon as you believe that you don't have power over your life, you're lost. This is very dangerous. That's why I want to, you know, tell you, because it's really crucial that you understand that you have a lot of power, more power than you think, and you may be not so confident, not as confident as me maybe, for example, but that doesn't mean that you don't have power. It just means you haven't developed yet. The first step is to realize it. The first step is to realize it, realize your power, and start to use your power slowly, right? The more you practice something, the more skills you will have and the more confident you will become because of experience. So now with my experience, I know that this message was targeted to me, a spiritual warfare type of thing, which is basically trying to corrupt your mind. That's all that spiritual warfare is trying to corrupt your mind, trying to bring you to the dark side, trying to make you confused, to make you doubt yourself, to make you feel like the negative energy is always going to be stronger than anything else. We can't believe these lies. It's enough, you know, it's enough. It's a very special year, I think, for all of us. After the past few years, everything that happened, the pandemic, all of these things, I really do believe that we are in a sensitive but also in a very powerful spot in humanity. Very sensitive and weak, and things are breaking down, things are being destroyed, so to speak, but that's not always a bad thing. So what we have to do is not to be like these sheeple, not to be NPCs, and to be actually become strong and confident in our values. And the values have to be based in something sustainable, something fueling. So yeah, I don't believe personally that pessimistic people, narcissistic type of people, in my opinion, they are not ruling the world, but it seems that way because there's so many weak people around. There's so many sheeps around. I was just talking to my colleague about the election thing, and I just said, basically, you know, just we have a very weak prime minister, and there's always been like that, apparently, in the UK. And we're talking about these people who are just gatekeeping, you know, like going to private schools, having money, and then they go into these types of occupations that give them a lot of money. And then the people who are essential workers, like nurses and stuff like that, they kind of kick them out of the country or not letting them in anymore because of Brexit, because they don't want people to come into the UK who are foreigners, basically. If you want to come to the UK, you have to have money. That's the main thing that it boils down to. So the simple solution I had was that these people who are politicians, for example, who are, you know, a big part of making rules for the commoners, is to live 2 years with benefits, meaning low income, very low income, in social housing, which means ghetto. So low income, ghetto. That's what these people have to do for at least 2 years. That's my proposal. And I don't know how we can, get this done, but that's not what it's about. What it's about is that I have a strong opinion. I'm sharing this opinion. And if more people do that, something will happen. Because there is going to be some rebellious person that has influence. But if most people just repeat what everybody else is already saying, there's no progress, right? So yeah, that's my message for today, is to have strong opinions when you already know, and if you don't know, contemplate, that it is based in sustainable, productive, fueling values, transformative values that can really improve our experience as people. Be confident in that. Don't be scared to open your mouth. You can be introverted but still say these things. It's just really important. It's beyond you. It's beyond your anxiety. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your damn anxiety. I'm so sorry. But nobody cares. You're never gonna be respected if you're always gonna be don't look at me. It's just you're just wasting time. I'm sorry, you're just wasting time. Nobody really cares, But people, when you start to become walking in your power, walking in your strengths, even if you start, people will look at it and be like, wow, they don't even know maybe what's going on. But it is big energy behind that. Big D energy. Yeah, it's very important that we all start to at least go into that direction. And even if you can't do that, support other people who do it. So like the video if you want to support this cause, this energy. Comment something, even if it's an emoji. Share it. All of these things, because the devil doesn't want this, okay? All right then, that's it for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good week. If not, then make it a good week. As I said, it's all in your hands, basically. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for having you. Thank you for being here, and bye.